might want to stay. Like, because again, from a working point of view, remove your feelings of Martinelli. All the man wants to do is stay, work for Arsenal. Arsenal are saying that's not the case. Loyalty is a two-way street, and football's a dirty game in that regards. But nonetheless, David Ornstein has said Al Hilal are pursuing a deal to sign Arsenal winger Gabriel Martinelli. The Saudi Pro League club are also in talks with the 25-year-old Brazil internationals camp over a proposed move. You'll get your move there, stay there for a year or two. You'll be somewhere in Europe. Arsenal are seeking a fee in the region of 60 million for Martinelli, and while no agreement has been reached, talks are ongoing, and the player is open to the possibility. So there's a lot to unpack there. Clearly, Martinelli's stance has changed because you did get the feeling he wants to play in one of the top 5 leagues. So whether it's the project or Arsenal telling you like the level of football you're going to get's changed and he don't like that, he's going to want to move on. We bought him for 6 million. Making a 54 million pound profit isn't the worst of stuff. It is a success story in that regards. Maybe I'm being greedy, but he shouldn't be going less for Somerville, if I'm honest with you. And I hope there's a sell-on clause. But maybe there's an element of we need to calm down. We're into the last, just over a week of the transfer window, but it just says talks are still ongoing. There ain't medicals and all of these kind of things. So a lot still could happen. The Athletic reported on August the 12th that Arsenal had received a 45 million euros offer from Galatasaray for Martinelli, but his camp later informed the Premier League club that he was not interested in the proposed move. As we know and have discussed, Martinelli was not included in Mikel Arteta's matchday squad for the win over Manchester City in the Community Shield. And when was the last time he was genuinely fit to be an option and not been involved in the squad? We all probably expect Wanyeri to go on loan. Wanyeri was in the matchday squad in the Prem. So what does that tell you about there's fuels to the flames now with this Martinelli departure stuff? I do think I don't know. I wouldn't say the penny drops, but I've always had this feeling that Martinelli goes and plays in another system. His footballing IQ and all that stuff might not improve, but you would see more of the Martinelli, like if you was to go on YouTube and look at his highlights, if that makes sense to you lot, people. I do kind of think that, man. And I do think you're best when you're instinctive. I think this system is too complicated for you. And to be fair, half of the team's got that. If PSG were genuinely interested in you, in which the Athletic said a few weeks ago, if I was Martinelli, I would have been trying to pattern that one. Because I probably would have been the top goal scorer in France because they were going to rest all their big dogs. They've won 2 Champions Leagues and people probably back them to get a third. That's what I would probably be doing. Should a move to El Hilal advance, Martinelli would be the Saudi Pro League club's latest forward addition for the summer. After, no way I can say that, but Somerville joined from West Ham in July. The club announced on Sunday forward Darwin Núñez had joined Al Diaria on loan. Martinelli is under contract with Arsenal until 2027, with the club holding an option to extend it by a further 12 months. Arsenal are open to trading the Brazil international if an attractive offer arrives, but he's not pushing to leave. So he's not pushing to leave. It's more like if you can accept me and if you're in the squad, you're in the squad type of thing, great. We know we brought in Zolis. We know Vinicius Jr. didn't happen. We also know Trossard's gone to Besiktas. Martinelli played 53 times for Arsenal last season. So whether you like him or I like him or whatever, he's a key player in the project, isn't it? Which my thing is, surely an attacker has to arrive because it don't make sense. Martinelli leaves, cool, you got 60 million. Some people wanted him to go. You've only got Zolis out there. Before you have to consider maybe an Eze or something left field. So whether the incoming player is good enough or someone we want, that's all questions I can't answer. I'm just thinking, surely. Moving on, I mean, everybody's talking about Julian Alvarez today, innit? After Arsenal agreed a deal with Athletic, staff from Arsenal had a direct call with the player himself. Alvarez informed them it wasn't the time to listen to anything or to try reach an agreement with him, that he only wanted Barcelona right up until deadline day. So let's leave the guy alone, man. I think he's been getting booed and whatnot on his return for Atletico Madrid, probably expected. Arsenal have told those close to the deal on the player side to be kept informed in case Julian Alvarez opens the door to Arsenal in the next 8 days. As of today, his position remains unchanged. If Julian Alvarez changes his mind in the next 8 days, Arsenal want to get the information in order to re-enter the deal. Yeah, but you sign for Arsenal, and if you do the job, I don't really care. And I kind of think I'm a bit of a different Arsenal fan or football fan in that, like, this is how football works. My man wants to go to Barcelona one day. So if you sign for Arsenal, next 2-3 years, you do stuff, we win Prems and Champs, and you want to go to Barca, great. I don't want you to come here and act like you're doing us a favor. And you're like, no, I don't really go down that route. Like, I'm not even necessarily caring that you sign for Arsenal if Barcelona doesn't work, because this is what happens in life. But the man don't really want to be here. Might as well just keep it pushing. And to be fair, this could all be radio nonsense, innit? Because there ain't too many names you can link Arsenal with as the transfer window's winding down to a close. Juan Jesus, who I think is a journalist, has said, Simeone didn't want to call up Alvarez today. It's been a direct order from Gil Martin to subject the player to a humiliation therapy in front of the Metropolitano. The goal is clear. Make the fans boo him, wear him down psychologically so that he gets fed up and ends up accepting any offer away from the club, including off Arsenal's. Damn. So I don't know if that any of that's true, but you get where I'm going. Once again, Gabriel Martinelli's reps have given a positive signal to Al Hilal to proceed in direct negotiations with Arsenal with Arsenal to sign the player. The parties expect negotiations to move forward in the coming days. What do we make of that? Hand of Arsenal spoke and said Mikel was direct with Martinelli about his squad status, hence player stance change in being open to clubs outside top 5 leagues. Arsenal had informally offered Gabby to Juventus for Kenlan Yildiz plus money, who remains a future target. Arsenal remain active for the right player. Is there any other updates from Hand of Arsenal specifically here? Not at this moment. There's a lot of strong interest from Premier League clubs in signing Ethan Nwaneri on loan. That doesn't surprise anybody. Arsenal in talks with Galatasaray for Victor Osimhen. Are we not bored of this? Nonetheless, according to Football Mercato, the Premier League champions are keen to sign a reliable goal scorer to bring competition to Gyökeres and bolster Mikel Arteta's attacking options. I mean, if you did sign Alvarez, he can play on the left. I reckon he plays through the middle, but it's not that it doesn't make sense to sign a striker. If you sign Osimhen, you've got Gyökeres, Kai Havertz, and him who can all play through the middle. How does that all work? And still not a gaping hole on the left-hand side, but anything happens to Zolis, you're talking about Eze going over there. It don't really make sense to me. And Osimhen would be a better striker, in my opinion, than Kai Havertz and Gyökeres. But how much of an upgrade is it to, like, just because I rate a player and he did get 30 goal contributions, he has played a number of leagues, so he could probably adapt. How much is Kai and Gyökeres like with Osimhen? Because if the jump ain't that big, with everything included, it don't make sense to me. And he earns 20 million euros net per year. He's contracted until 2029. The Gunners can't match those wages, but they have seemingly made their interest known should Osimhen accept a lower salary. Again, if I see Gabriel Jesus is a non-factor, but he needs to be moved on. If I see either Gyökeres or Kai Havertz leave, then I might give more fuel to the flames here. Apparently, Atletico Madrid president Cerezo on Julian Alvarez and Barcelona. What I consider is that Barcelona wasn't up to the circumstances and didn't do what is normally done in this kind of situation. We've gone over that. So it seems like the drama's unfolding. After a fairly complicated summer marked by incessant questions about Julian Alvarez, the fact is he's an Atletico Madrid player. He's always been an Atletico Madrid player. We never had any intentions of selling him. Julian Alvarez visibly uncomfortable, annoyed, staring at the floor, obviously the booze and whatnot. Hand of Arsenal apparently said, my understanding is Hamburg are trying to get a deal done on their terms. Arsenal will stick to a fair valuation. Fabio would love to return to Germany if a deal can be agreed. You, Reece Nelson, Gabriel Jesus, we're getting to the end of the window now. Can we move you lot on? There has been rumours apparently of Arsenal upgrading their stadium, and every now and again we have these conversations about do we move to Wembley for a year or so. Is there any news regarding the expansion of the Emirates Stadium? Hand of Arsenal, big him up, said, the matter is very complicated, but I'll pose a question to you from an interesting angle. Is it wise to abandon our stadium entirely and move to a temporary one while we're currently in need to win now, period? And at a time when the Emirates Stadium has only just become a terrifying and fiery atmosphere. Just a question worth thinking about. Mikel Arteta is consulted on various issues related to Arsenal. On Julian Timber, Julian has been dealing with an extremely complex issue. I feel sympathy for our Dutch player as he's been working hard to make a strong and healthy return. Reports are expected to emerge soon about his participation in training with the team. We hope it all goes well. Okay, so I think that was an update there. Are we thinking about players for January? If so, if who? If so, who? And I was watching City thinking, wouldn't have minded Semenyo, you know. Imagine having Zolis, Semenyo. We're cool over there now. Depending on what this window ends, Krupi is one to watch for many clubs, including us. We most certainly held talks with his camp earlier in the window, wishing him a full recovery. Apparently, Arsenal have placed Mateus Fernandez-Pardo, who's been linked with a number of clubs, the Leo attacker, Belgium international, on their attacker shortlist and monitoring his situation closely. Arsenal are aware they would need to improve his 70 million euros asking price to have any hope of swaying Leo to sell before the transfer window ends. Can he play out wide? Seems an intelligent thinker, seems a high IQ footballer, seems like there's a lot of, like scope to grow. To be fair, Leo have a good track record. We could just look at Gabriel. I don't know if it's a needle mover. Romano did say 2 days ago, Arsenal made contact with Atletico Madrid to discuss Julian Alvarez deal conditions. Direct meeting took place in London with their Atletico director. Price currently too high, plus Julian never opened doors to England so far as he wanted to join Barcelona. And I'm sure there was something in relation to Kenyan this as well, people. Let's go find it. Big up you lot if you're still here. Arsenal are busy with multiple offers from clubs inside and outside the Premier League for Wanyeri. I was told if they loan him, everything will be studied because of how bad the last loan went, even though Mikel Arteta thinks Wanyeri grew a lot as a person in Marseille. We've gone over the creepy thing. I want creepy, man. I really want creepy. I think long term, that's our striker. I think you could cook on the left-hand side. I remember, what's his name? Areola for Bournemouth playing you behind the striker. So you're one of those Swiss Army knife kind of guys. Kylian Yildiz was a serious target for Arsenal this summer. To my understanding, they really tried for him. Juventus did not want to sell this year. He remains on Arsenal's list for the future. Boy, let me scroll up and see what you lot are saying in the chat, people. I'm okay with moving Martinelli if he's properly replaced. Need to get Jesus out tomorrow, my friend. Selling Martinelli is kind of dumb if we don't get an upgrade. If Savinho is worth 85 million, Nelly is worth double that. Kepa needs to get booted out. Ian Wright's friends with some of our players. He was just backing Martinelli. I mean, to be fair, big up Ian Wright. People, social media is crazy, isn't it? He says his opinion. Everybody wants to jump on him, innit? If it's not independent from any sheep kind of thinking, man. 876 and Rob, appreciate you. Have you hit the like button? Ask yourself, then do it. It's only right. Ever since Zolis said Alexis was his favorite player, I've always seen it in him. I can't see it yet. I think you're quite different, man. They look similar in their style of play, but Zola still has a lot to improve. Looks like a great signing so far. How can you not like his signing, man? I think Zola, I said it when we got him, like, I think he's going to surprise a lot of Arsenal fans. I do like him more to Sanchez. He's just trying to be everyone's buddy right now and pass the ball. We have a gem. Having Benny back is vital. If you weren't a gunner from birth, we don't want you to play for us. That's basically what you're saying. I never said that. No. That's just not how the world works, man. Alvarez ain't worth more than 80 euros max. Is the stream glitching for you guys? I know for sure it's not my internet. If it's glitching, please let me know. Alvarez is not going to come to us and play like shit because his heart is set on Barca. Trust me. But no hate on Archie Gray, but you're a captain at 19 and surprised when Spurs get pumped 3-0. Big up Archie Gray. Spurs, it's not going to happen overnight, bro. It's not going to happen for a lot of teams overnight. Like Liverpool, I always say this. Like you can see issues. You can actually say it with us, even though we beat Coventry and probably even with City, but more the pre-season. You can say it with United. You can say it with Liverpool with what I saw today. You can say it with City. You can say it with Man United. You can say it with Spurs. Signings are one thing. It all has to gel. And pre-season is not this magical place. You go off for a week or 3 weeks. Everything's great. In the same way you don't become like when Arsenal were in the pits of hell from a footballing point of view. We never got there overnight. In the same way we're here now, it's clearly weeks and days and years of making the right decisions on and off the field, tactically, unlearning bad habits and learning good habits. I need you to stand here. You need to stand here. You need to defend like this, etc., etc., etc. So it was never gonna season starts and it's all lit. And to be fair, football fans have got short-term memories. Like everybody's drawing conclusions. I don't think Man United are in the title race, but they've gone from being in it, now they're not. City, they look vulnerable and can be got at. Liverpool is shaky. And then if these teams go on, Spurs, whatever, if these teams go and batter teams next week, what's going to be said? Now, who have Chelsea got last on Monday? Whoever they're playing, I hope they get slaughtered. Come on, Fulham. I don't know about Fulham's thing. I'll be real. I don't know about Fulham's thing, but let's try, man. Let's try, geezers. Carrot looked clueless when the camera was on him, looked confused. I can't lie, the lineup looked poor. And again, a lot of these Man United players have bad habits. And a bit like what I said, obviously our midfield options are better, but like I say with Mikel Arteta, I think him and Carrick have the same thing. And what I mean by that is, specifically on midfield options, you've got all the ingredients. It's down to you to know now how much oil to put in, what you're going to cook, and etc., etc. United ain't got balance. Telemans and Bruno, there's only certain conditions that can work. Bruno's wasteful. Telemans ain't really got the legs. Santos is going to be left to his own devices. Set pieces is still an error. Defending them. It's square pegs in round holes. And obviously they're playing more than one game a week. So for me, of all clubs, when we get to the 10-game mark, that's when Arsenal are like this, United like this, Chelsea like that. That's the closest I can kind of read into things, man. Other than that, I think it's just exciting, man. If I'm honest with you, man. If Martinelli leaves, does this mean a replacement is definitely coming in? We could never say definitely. We don't work for Arsenal, but logically, surely, you've got less numbers. And we all know how unforgiving the fixture calendar list is for everyone. Arsenal fans, you saw the injuries last season. Arsene Wenger kept Arsenal in the top four for 20 years in a row. He spent 900 mil. And I'll say this, yeah. All this PSR and FFP and SCR and all these acronyms, yeah. I'm not saying this right. Football is fucked. We all know there's vested interest where you look at chairmen and clubs that vote for stuff, but nobody cared about this FFP bullshit when we lost Ashley Cole, when anyone that we had that was half decent had to go City. Nobody cared. So you think I've got any sympathy? I've got sympathy for the fans, but as footballing establishments, what's going on at Aston Villa or what's going on at Newcastle? And I've already said my hot take, and I actually think Newcastle's going to be all right, man. I think Newcastle are going to be all right. Villa, Emery's going to have to pull a rabbit out of the hat, man, because they've been decimated in it. They've lost the spine, and obviously they basically lost Onana as well because he's out for the season. So, yeah, most clubs don't do business in Jan. He didn't have to join City. He wanted to move, innit? We told Semenyo to wait, and he couldn't risk it as a professional footballer. You can't blame him. Can't blame him. Like, if they're telling you want to go there right now, fair enough, go do your thing. And it is quite interesting with City, man, because both teams, I know Semenyo plays for Ghana, but he grew up in England. Both teams got a bit of an English core thing going on. I think there's a lot of Arsenal and City, there's a lot of similarities developing. Alvarez is like a gal who doesn't really like her hubby. She wants next man's peen, but she's gonna settle for the big wage packet, but we cheat on him. Damn. If we signed Semenyo, we wouldn't have gotten Zolis. You reckon? I disagree, you know. Because obviously it's not as white and black as this. It could have been the case, but you would have had Semenyo. Martinelli and Trossard probably could have been moved on. The Trossard piece goes towards Zolis. I think you still would have ended up with Zolis, if I'm honest. We need Timber back, man. We're not going to have there's no way on God's green earth you're going to have a free run at Krupi. Everyone is going to have a various degree of interest in him. My 5-year project, after I realized everyone signed new contracts, 3 to 5 leagues and a Champions League with League Cups mixed between. This is honestly what I expect with Josh in control. The thing is, DJ, at this stage we are at, it's not always about a massive upgrade. Sometimes it's about marginal gains. Yeah, 100%, but it has to make sense, bro. Because even if it's marginal gains, you could argue we did that in midfield. It's still got to make sense financially. I don't think Osimhen makes sense. If you're asking me, do I like the player? Would I like him at Arsenal? If it was as white and black as that, 1,000,000%. But when I factor in all the other stuff, whether I